understand that we're trying to get through this tonight, but there's another significant issue that I know numbers. I've got an engineering background, but I'm not an engineer. I'm by no means a civil engineer. I run billion-dollar contracts, or at least I did before I retired. And I understand the kinds of decisions that have to be made here. In the end, we didn't choose. The state chose to spend somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000 for a surface that, had it been applied properly, would have lasted between 4 and 6 years. Whereas a hot seal surface on that road would have lasted an additional 15 years or more. Now, granted, there's maintenance that has to be done, but in the end, if you look at nothing more than the cost benefit, the hot seal was going to be cheaper for us at the outset. And the one thing that doesn't get taken into consideration is who pays the extra cost. It's not going to be the state in this one, it's the people that are in this room. Whether it's fuel economy or windshield damage or car damage, we're the ones that wind up paying for the state to choose a cheaper solution.
Was there any type of reply or question you had for a TxDot representative?
Yeah.
Somebody would like to speak to this before we move on?
I think the big question is, what's the solution?
What's the solution?
Yeah.
What's it gonna take to convince them to just fix it? Period.
Stop defending, just fix it.
I mean, the issue is that there's different things that are going on out there that we're gonna look at different measures. Right now, an overlay is not what's needed out there. We're looking at different aspects of it, but there's things, we're gonna take care of what's going on out there. But an overlay is not what's needed for the road.
I'm sorry, when you say an overlay is not the answer, that's just your opinion, and
There's
you're the one
different- there's
person
other
that
types of
decides what
services.
happens with this road. See, that's what started with this in the first place. That road, I drive it 2-3 times every single day, and it was fine, it didn't need a thing. And you all need to And then after we had our first meeting, you quoted all sorts of figures on the reason it needed to be done, but coincidentally, in less than a week, you were out there taking counts of the road. So if your numbers were set and everything was fine, I don't know why you needed to do that, but that was only out there less than 24 hours. And I just wanted to clarify one thing, because Mr. Hurt, or you said at today's meeting that it was not about the money. And Mr. Hurt said after our first meeting, he was right on the news, saying we're trying to get more bang for the buck for the state of Texas. And that's all this was about, was to save money. But you just stood up there and said an overlay is not what's needed. And why are you the one that says an overlay is not needed? Because we all think an overlay is what's needed.
There are issues that we need to take care of. There are repairs that need to be happening. I am admitting to that, and that's something that the state will take care of. But again, I don't.
Wait a minute. Listen, y'all want to listen to this man talk, or do y'all want to make comments out in the audience? We need to decide which we're going to do right now. Because we'll take out time for y'all all to make a bunch of comments, and we'll all listen to it. Then we'll let him continue. But how are we going to go about it?
But Ray, can I ask just,
Thank you.
you just said, what are we gonna do about it? But he just stood up and said, here's what we're gonna do about it. We're not doing the one thing everybody in this room wants done. So I guess I don't understand, what else are we supposed to do?
Again, we're gonna look at the different engineering measures to address all the issues that came up tonight. There are gonna be portions, or there could be portions that are overlaid at the surface. We'll look at that. But as part of, and I cannot reiterate it enough, in areas where there are no major roads, the wheel paths are solid, we have areas that the rock has come off because of the oil distributor. There's areas that we've got to take care of that. And there's things that we're going to look at on top of that, find solutions to the noise issue. So again, I want to reiterate, we're not walking away from 12, and what you've got out there is what you're going to have. We're going to use all the technology that we have available to address the issues on the road.
Why wasn't that used in the first place? All that technology.
It's,
Here, go ahead and answer this question. From this point forward, if I recognize you, ask your question, make your statement, because we're not getting anywhere with this.
I think we're getting exactly where we need to go.
what's happened out there right now on the nozzle issue for whatever reason, the oil was not distributed correctly. That's something that we'll need to address as far as the maintenance goes. The other issue was at the intersections. For those locations, a seal coat is not holding up in the traffic, so we need to look at something to hold up to that turning movement on the intersection, what I said earlier. So again, there's areas that and this sometimes happens on a road that we seal coat. We have to sometimes go back and take care of some issues out there. And that's what we're gonna have to do on 12.
I recognize some hands here, people that have spoken. There's a young man right over here who's been patiently putting his hand up all night. Yes, sir. You can come speak here, or you can speak loudly from there.
My name is Jonathan Hines. I live in the Saddle Tree Ranch, and I hear everyone talking about the budgets and saving money. My question to Mr. Speaker is, was the money we paid not sufficient to make a good, safe road?
I think that's one of the key questions we're trying to answer from the standpoint that the money that was spent was not spent to make it an unsafe road.
Okay, so I'd like to know how the Smock family would feel if, God forbid, one day they got a call saying Logan was in an accident due to the road.
I would feel sick. I do not understand why we have to go through all the effort we have gone through, putting websites together, signs, 500 petitioners, all these people from the community taking hours out of their night, meeting with the same TxDot people, getting the same answers, with Carlos Lopez, who's the district manager at TxDot, not prioritizing this to fix the road with a hot seal coat, make sure that the infrastructure meets the needs of this growing community. I do not think it is appropriate that we're going to sit into deliberation and set up agreements and committees of how we can make better decisions in the future. We need to make changes to this road today.
Okay.
Amen.
No counter. Yes, sir.
And this question probably goes beyond the people that are sitting here, but what is it gonna take to get the road hot sealed? Who needs to make that decision? Is that it?
Is there someone that y'all would refer to? Carlos Lopez.
So,
The answer.
Carlos Lopez to say, yes, it needs to be
Well, I think that you've got three people here tonight, Representative Workman, Representative Isaac, and myself, that are elected officials, that got involved in this because we feel like there's something needs to be done. Now, I can speak for myself and say that the other experiences I've had in the short period of time I've been commissioner with TxDot is that they do good jobs. They work at doing good jobs. They don't work at doing bad jobs. We have heard tonight a commitment from them that they're gonna try to make some resolutions to this. So we'll follow through the process. If that's not acceptable, then we move further down the process. Good.
So what do you think should be done?
Waylon, you've had your hand up a long.
I have about three questions, really. When we purchase something, there's usually a warranty involved in the purchase. And I don't know if the work was done by TxDot employees or contractors. I suspicion that it's done by contractors. They should have a warranty. I don't think that we as taxpayers need to be paying for repair work done by TxDot, whether it's contractors or not, and pay maintenance fees on a road that was subpar and shoddy. And really, Ranch Road 12 North is not the only shoddy road that we pay for. If you've driven between Cedar Valley going east into Oak Hill, that road was resurfaced with a hot, what you're gonna call an asphalt, I guess. And if you drive down there in a car, you probably notice that you just kind of weave back and forth. That is not a safe road. And as a motorcycle rider, you just better stay away from either one of them.
Thank you. All right, and here's again, is there anybody would like to make a reply from TxDot?
I guess more the question on the warranty, we don't do warranties on our, with our contractors. That issue. Again, that's, our contracts aren't set up for warranty.
They need to be.
It shouldn't be paid for.
my fuel efficiency has gone down 10% across the board. And when I say across the board, that means that the drag that 12 has caused my car has, if I have 300 miles in the tank and 150 of them are on 12, it drops the MPG across the board for all 300 miles, 10%. So I'm thinking that's dragging me down about 20%. So everybody here, it has a gas tax essentially of 10% that you haven't voted on that we're all paying right now. Were you aware of that?
No, ma'am.
I actually had the chance to test my theory on that because my daughter was hospitalized this week up at Dell. And I have been unable to recreate the mileage I was enjoying before the chip seal until this week when I've been off the 12, driving up to Dell Children's Center. It's not my car, it's the road. Were you aware of that it kills, that road kills fuel efficiency? 10% for me.
The gentleman in the back.
My name's Guy Wickham. I'm on the board for Silent Tree. I've got two other past board members. And there was discussion a couple of years ago regarding Bee Creek out there, the development where the contractor went broke. They're going to revise that now and start building. But one of the things that's going to happen is the Reimer Ranch was purchased, and they're going to bring a road down through there, the Hamilton Road, and then people will use 12 to avoid the traffic on 71. This is a fact. They were even discussing going to 4 lanes. We as board members said, that's going to create a lot of noise. We're going to ask TxDOT to put in a sound barrier along Saddle Tree Ranch in order to eliminate that noise. It's nothing compared to what we have right now. I mean, if you don't do anything, put a sound barrier up. Because I live way back in the end of the intersection. Ray knows where I live. And we never could hear that road. You can stand in my backyard, and I can count the cars going down. If you'd like to come out and enjoy a beer with me, sit in the backyard, we'll count them together. But this is crazy. We bought to be in the country and be in solitude, and we don't have that anymore. And you need to fix it for us.
So would you call it a rural road where you live at?
Do I call it? Not anymore. It's grown. Since we came here, Dripping Springs has grown rapidly, but we did have the piece before they put this road service down, sir. Thank you.
Yes, why?
I'm wondering, I understand the reason that this road was fixed or redone was due to cracks. And I've been looking at this slide presentation for over an hour. It's interesting to me that I've yet to see on the shoulders where no work was done. There's, as far as you can see, there's a great picture where you can see really far. There are no cracks. Now, so I'm wondering, what is your criteria, when you decided this road needs to be redone? I mean, were you getting complaints about it? Because there were no potholes, and I never noticed any cracks. So I'm just wondering, what's your criteria for spending money on a road that a lot of us say there wasn't a need for?
We do the pavement evaluation and we drive the road, so I didn't observe it myself, but apparently there was cracking going on where seal coat was determined that was the appropriate surface. Personally, I don't know, but like I said, again, there was cracking that was observed.
I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Greg.
Greg. I'm one of the original folks from our first meeting in November, and you and I went back and forth on, I was really trying to understand why you put hot seal at intersections. And I think the reason was, I think you talked a little bit about that earlier, it was the 90-degree turns, right?
The turn.
Right. So if I'm doing the math right, I might be wrong here. We got about 15 intersections up and down 12, right? Approximately. Which, if we go and put chip seal again, are we not going to be in that same position in 4 months? I mean, we've got hot seal for your reasons because of the turning, and yet we have evidence here that is wearing away at intersections. That's not even some of the bad stuff. Fitzhugh, the intersection at Fitzhugh, I don't think there is any chip seal left because of all the returning. Now, again, your whole point was we put the hot hot seal at these intersections because of the turning. Well, it would seem to me the logic would be that you would put them at every single intersection to avoid that type of wear and tear. Well, if you're gonna do all the intersections, my logic is, do the whole darn road. And save us some time.
And that's something that we can look at as far as the intersections go. We're gonna look at where we're having problems and try to address those problems. So, I'm not coming in and saying we're just gonna do it simple. We're gonna look at ways to.
Now, the bucket should be over. I mean, the road needs to be repaved, period.
Okay, just, well, I'm trying to choose hands of people that haven't spoken before, so from this point, we're about 8:15, we're gonna try to do this for about 15 more minutes. The man here in the back on the right. Yes.
My name's David, and I live one off of Ranch Road 12, close between Westgate Boulevard and the entrance road. And I've been there since '95. I'm in an all-brick home. And I sit there and I sleep at night with the road noise. And it's just happened here since then. And it is unbearable. I'm sorry. You know, you got to cut the noise down. You got to come put a sound barrier down on Ranch Road 12. And second, the lady that had the roll trick out and talked about that they've also said, who wants to write her a check for $200,000 so she can fill her home? Or write me a check so I can move out? Hey, you got to ask the people in here that got property on there, they can't sell it. I'm sorry, you can't sell a home with noise like that, it won't work. And then this gentleman here asked me to tell you, if there's more than just roads intersecting, you got driveways that turn out. There's driveways all up and down Ranch Road 12. If you do that, you might as well pave the whole thing.
Okay, this gentleman right here.
Yes, I'd like to know what time frame we can expect a proposal and what time frame we could expect construction completion.
How will it be presented to us? Well, first off, any work that happens is gonna have to, weather's gonna have to warm up. So it'll be sometime probably late spring before we get warmer weather. Again, we're gonna go back and I would probably say give us about 2 weeks. And we'll come up with a response as to what we're gonna do out there.
Will there be a proposal that we can review before the work is done?
Yes, sir, in 2 weeks, we'll let you know what we're gonna be doing out there, and it'll be, again, until the weather warms up, before we can go out and do any of the activity. Now, the full solution might have to be another contract that we have to draw up plans on, depending on what needs to be done. But as far as the maintenance work to fix the immediate issues, it's gonna have to warm up. So just to kind of let you know, again, 2 weeks, I think we will have a solution that we will get to folks so they can kind of see what's going on. Because again, we want to take back everything that we've heard tonight to look at that. In the meantime, our maintenance forces will be going out there and taking care of some things other than the sweeping. The issues with anything that's done on the road will have to warm up, and anything else sort of beyond maintenance will probably have to be a contract.
Certainly, we're interested in the short-term maintenance, but what we're really interested in is the long-term solution.
Right,
And that's the plan that I'm particularly asking you, what time frame can we expect the long-term
I think in
solution?
2 weeks, we'll know when that contract, it can go to bid. We should know that in 2 weeks.
He's talking about long-term though.
That's what I'm talking
Okay.
about. The contract will be long-term.
Okay.
And when I say long-term, it's a couple of years.
If I could, let me remind you, if you didn't, try to put your name and an address, hopefully an email address. My office will gather those, we'll build a list. We can help, Ms. Smoke can help us with her list.
Yes.
And we'll get information like this from TxDot out to you, or we will get that contact information to the Texas Department of Transportation to help inform you.
We can post it on the website. We can post his information on the website of what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and when is going to be the next review.
Thank you.
Fix Ranch
Councilman,
Road 12.
oh,
they've already used our tax dollars to do what we got now. Now, they're gonna use our tax dollars to double bill. Another thing is, I just can't understand why, when we done right the first time, now we're gonna pay twice for something we should have had in the first place. And last, is how much, now that they're gonna double bill us, how much money is, TxDot gonna save?
Well, here again, I'm gonna let them speak to the majority of that, but I don't know that we'll get a double bill. I think what it's gonna be, I understand.
They're gonna use our TxDot again for fixing.
Yes, sir, I think probably they will, but, I'm gonna let them answer that. But what I would say is this, if this is a problem, I would like to say that I don't think it was approached in a way that would create a problem. This was not their objective, is to create a problem.
Oh, yeah. And as far as the cost, again, we'll have to look and see what is needed out there. Probably the one thing as far as, that is an immediate address is the issue that I talked about with the nozzles, as far as the oil that's coming out of the nozzles. That's something that will need to be taken care of. The issues at the intersections, again, that's just something to where we're gonna have to build upon that, and as I talked about before, a seal coat's not holding up at the intersections, so we'll need to address that.
On that novel, they should have been stopped, because I worked construction right after I got out of school. And the inspectors that I worked with, anything like that, even on the spreader box, they stop it just like that, do not let them go until everything was fixed. I can't understand why this went all the way through without being.
Yes, sir.
Two questions. First, will you provide a copy of the payment evaluation? And also, Mr. Commissioner, what do you and Mr. Isaac think should be done?
What do we think we should,
Yeah.
but there's three questions first.
The payment evaluation.
And the second question.
We have payment evaluations that, I don't think it's on the website. I don't know if it's out there. Usually it ends up being a payment score that we have that would be available for that. So, again, it's one of those things to where I don't know what we, I guess we could get that information out. Okay. It's one of those things to where we could submit that as far as on the website, as far as what the last payment evaluation was for 12. If that's something y'all want.
Yes, we do. And then the second part of the question, do elected officials here, what they think needs to be done? Yeah, Commissioner, what do you think?
The other question he asked was what elected officials think they would like, or feel like should be done. I'm gonna speak first, I'm gonna give both Mr. Representative Workman and Representative Isaac a chance to speak, but I think what we need to do is wait 2 weeks to see what their proposal is. Get a timeline with it, with a cost with it. I'm not real certain, but I believe there's given amounts of money that the state allocates for work in given districts and regions. So I, as a Kansas County Commissioner, would be glad to work with Commissioners Court and the other commissioners if there's any opportunity that some of the money that TxDot plans to spend in Hays County may be able to, in some extent, be reallocated to help resolve this problem sooner. I don't think it's going to be fixed overnight, but I think it's fixable. I feel like at the very least is we need to pick some of the more high traffic areas, the intersections, consider them first for a hot mix overlay. The balance of it, ladies and gentlemen, just comes down, and so, as a county commissioner, we don't supply money for that maintenance work, but I will help any way I can as a commissioner. Representative Workman, did you have anything to say?
Well, I can tell you that I think it needs to be paid. I don't want to throw the guys under the bus here, but Representative Isaac and I will work closely with TxDot to try to find the money to get this road fixed.
That's more like it.
They have something to add to that.
I really don't. Ideally, we could go back in time and make it not happen at all. And I will look at to see if there are any other projects that are coming up in Hays County to see if there's chip seal that's going to be used so that we can prevent this from happening in other areas. And maybe that'll free up some money if
Ray was talking about. I think that's how 1826 was done. They got, county commissioners got together, moved some money from other projects to fix 1826. And if that's what we need to do, if we're gonna spend money on chip seal somewhere else, I'd rather just spend it on Ranch Road 12 and get it fixed.
Aside from the issue on chip and seal, pro and con from that, it was installed defectively, and you keep saying, well, we don't have the money, or we're gonna have to, what you're saying is, we're gonna have to pay for this. But who was the contractor that defectively installed this job?
I can't answer that
Well, no,
question.
I'm asking them. Who was the contractor that installed the job?
Angel Brothers Construction.
Okay, now, if someone breaches the contract and effectively does work, can't TxDot get the money back, whether it's by suing them or whatever, so us taxpayers don't have to be on the line. And you'll have the money to cure the job from them. Who